Dear Tanisha, we are live. The floor is yours.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone joining us from all around the world. Thank you for being here. Welcome to our mentorship session on understanding mental health across all ages in 2025. We'll be talking about building emotional resilience in children and in youth. My name is Tinashe Jaricha. I'm a systemic counselor and your moderator for today's session. This event is proudly brought to you by Women Ascension. It's a global initiative built on the belief that empowered women can transform communities, industries, and futures. Women Ascension is a presence in over 90 countries, so it's very global, and it provides a space where women from all walks of life can lead, learn, and lift others through mentorship, leadership development, and purposeful collaboration. At its core, Women Ascension's mission is rooted in empathy and service. Through programs like the 1 Million Leadership Fellowship, it nurtures emerging leaders and aligns its work with the UN Sustainable Development Goals, or the SDGs, which include gender equality, education, and well-being. Today's session focuses on exploring the evolving landscape of mental health in 2025, recognizing how societal, technological, and lifestyle changes influence well being, especially among children and youth. We'll also highlight the importance of building emotional resilience as a foundation for lifelong mental health. Now it's my absolute pleasure to introduce our speaker, Miss Asma Naim. I will say a few things about her. She is a coach and a hypnotherapist who helps women heal from emotional wounds, rebuild their self worth, and reclaim their confidence and freedom. Through her transformative work, she guides women to reconnect with their inner strength and live a life they truly deserve. Thank you so much, Miss Asma. We're truly excited to learn from you today. Ladies and gentlemen, let's stay engaged. Please feel free to contribute and ask questions. We want this to be a very interactive and meaningful session for all. Over to you, Miss Asma. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tinashket. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. So you have already introduced me. So for me, just to share with everyone, just a very brief intro about myself. I have worked in corporate for almost 17, 18 years. And then this was my passion to work as a hypnotherapist, because that was my self-exploring journey when I wanted to explore what is my high purpose in my life, and what's something which can give me more fulfillment. Because sometimes maybe you're earning really good bucks, you are in a good position and you're enjoying all the luxuries of your life, but somewhere you feel there is an inner calling. So for me to move from corporate to behavioral sciences, as I've been into psychology student as well, I did my graduation in that. So I think after so many years spending in corporate and with all the stress, and I have seen like many mental health issues, even I have suffered too. And it's with time, I think now we have a lot of awareness and people are talking about, people are having now these webinars, more information. And now you find like everyone wants to know more about it, and people are trying to practice that, and people are understanding the importance of this topic and how important it is, the mental health. Because from my experience, mental health is not separate from your physical health. So if you are mentally or emotionally, you're not regulated, you're not stable, or you have any issues, it will definitely reflect in your body health as well. And I think we are more of like a programmed, like from day one, that if you have any physical issue, we just run to the doctor. But if you have any emotional issue, or we are going through any kind of mental issues, even first in the very first place, we don't recognize it. Because there were times when we never talk about it, but now it's like more awareness is there and people are recognizing the importance of mental health. So I want I don't want to have a session where I'm having this presentation and I'm just sharing some information with you, but I want to be more interactive. I want you guys to share your experiences because all of us at some point of time we have like experienced maybe some issues with our kids, maybe the kids around us, the youth around us, and we have also been there in that place. So of course we have also come through that phase when we were also kids, and we were also having those challenges as a young people when we were in our school, colleges, universities, and even when we got into relationships. So I think all of us, we have different experience in our life, and I would like all of you to share, talk, discuss, because we all learn from each other. So that's my aim today, that it's just not I'm presenting something and I just keep talking. I want all of you to be interactive. If there is any questions or just you want to share your experience and just want to share your thoughts or maybe some suggestions, so please feel free and interrupt me. And I think Tanishka can look at the messages. So let's have more interactive session today. Let's not just focus on the screen and just keep listening. To start with, if we look at, I was just looking at general, just a moment. Can you, are you seeing this tab on the screen? Because I'm
Yes,
seeing,
ma'am, it's visible.
Yes.
I'm just trying to hide it. If anyone knows what's the best way to do it. I think it will go off once I'll have this one. Let it be here. Okay, let's ignore that. Okay, so when if you look at the general numbers, overall Wealth Health Organization, I was reading there one of the article and research, and they mentioned that over 1 billion people globally are living with mental health disorders, and mainly it's anxiety and depression, and it's across all the countries, and it's everywhere. And even the mental health disorder, it constitutes the second largest cause of long-term disability. Imagine, so it's not we are talking about the physical diseases, but the mental health disorders constitute the second largest cause of the long-term disability with high individual and social economic cost. And beyond the cost, when we are having mental issues, we lose productivity as well, right? If I'm not doing good emotionally or mentally or any issues I'm having, so how productive I will be. And like I said, whenever you have any emotional issues, it has impact on your body as well. How many people we are suffering from high blood pressure, diabetes, back pains, body pains, and we are not productive. Even it's not about being professionally productive. Maybe normally in your personal life, you're not productive. You're very lazy, right? So all of us, we experience that whenever we are emotionally not regulated, we are not okay. That is reflecting in our body as well. So all this research now has been done, and they have seen, like, apart from that, that the cost we are incurring now on the health we're spending, the governments are spending, it has also impact on the other side on the productivity. There is so much absenteeism in the offices. So many times we make excuses not to even join the office, not to even go to the work, because we are not feeling okay, and we even don't know how to express that. So it is also impacting our productivity. And of course, if you have like 50 people working for you and 25 out of them, they're not doing good and they're not even attending to work, or they're low in the productivity, how is going to impact? So it has a ripple impact. Even the suicide remains a critical concern. And there's how many cases now we are even now hearing about it on the suicide cases. There was some research that 727,000 lost in 2021. And this is, we are talking about the USA, not overall world. So imagine in one country, how many lives they lost, and it was a suicide cases. And also there was the research which surprised me as well. Then in 2022, the second leading cause of death among people aged between 10 to 14 and 25 to 34. So imagine we are talking about kids, young people, and this is the second, suicide is the second leading cause of death. And it is, of course, coming from all this social pressure, depression, anxiety. We will talk about it more. And it's a third leading cause among people aged between 15 and 24, and fourth leading cause among individuals aged 35 and 44. So these are general numbers that now I think everyone is paying attention to it. So that's a good thing as well, that we are now looking into it and how important the mental health is and how it is really affecting us. So if we talk about the youth, especially if you're talking about children from 6 to 12 years old, now this is the age which we call the development age, where we are creating our identity. So this is a very critical age where you can say that till the age of 6, we don't have any right and wrongs in our life. Everything we are just absorbing. Whatever is coming to us, whatever we are learning in our schools, at home, or whoever are primary caretakers, we are just learning from them what is right, what is wrong. We don't have any mental filters. So this age is really critical, because this is the age where we develop our inner beliefs about ourselves and how we perceive the world. And that's why even especially if I talk about, so when we do the therapy, hypnotherapy, especially hypnosis, talks about more on the subconscious mind. So your subconscious mind start developing at this age, because before that is raw. You don't know what is right. You don't know what is wrong. This is something we are learning. And we are creating our identity. We are having perceptions about ourselves, and we are having a lens to see the world. And this is the time which is very critical for the kids' development. Because you must have seen and you must have experienced, if anyone would like to share, so please be open to share that. After the age of 12 or 13, when we call it's a teenage, how many times we hear the parents are complaining, oh, the kids doesn't listen to us, or they're just doing whatever they want to do, and it's so difficult to manage them. It's so difficult, it's so hard to manage them. How many parents are facing these challenges? Because till that time, they have developed their habits. They have developed certain self-images. So at that time, maybe sometimes when the kids are very initial stage, we are not paying that much attention. We are not looking at the signs of their behavior, what they are learning, what image they are creating, what do they really believe in that. So it's very important when we talk about the mental health, and especially we are talking about the kids here and talking about the youth here. So I will emphasize a lot to have a very close observation when your kids are at this age, especially the 6 to 12, even prior to that. Because this is the age when kids are learning and they're creating their identity. And this has impact in their life further when they're in their teens and when they get adult. So even when I do therapies, so the core issues are coming from childhood. I would like to ask any one of you have ever experienced bullying in the school as a kid?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so would you like to share your experience, and can you tell me your name? I can't see your name here, sorry.
Okay, my name is Veronica, and I have experienced that right from secondary school, not in primary school.
Mm-hmm.
I normally have a future on my face. My nose is actually very big, and my classmates always make fun of it.
Mm-hmm.
And this actually added to my trauma because I went to boarding school due to a lot of unstable family issues. And when I came to school, instead of my friends to be kind to me, they were making fond of my futures, and that deepened my trauma.
Oh my God. But I can really feel that. And that's what I say, that at this age, these kind of experiences are very traumatic for kids. Maybe even we don't realize that. And sometimes even we as elders or parents or whatever, so we make fun of kids. And we even don't realize that maybe that thing is so traumatic for the kid. So can you share with me, if it's okay with you, would you able to come out of that trauma? Did you took any help for it, or how did you cope with it?
Actually, it was not easy. It
Mm.
wasn't easy, but what I did was, how I easily coped with it was back in university. I made friends with people that actually encouraged me, but I most of the times I come out of it through affirmations, um like I do a lot of affirmations to appreciate myself first, to love myself first, because I realize that if I don't do that, no one will be able to love me more than I love myself. So it's a kind of a process. It's still a process.
Exactly, that's so true. Thank you so much for sharing that experience. I really appreciate it. And this is why it's very important that we need to look at the signs, the behaviors of our kids. And it's very good that you have taken care of that by self-love, and you have done some work on yourself, because the self-work only helps you to come out of these traumatic experiences. And at times, and I tell you something, as a kid, even you don't know how to express it. So if you observe closely your kids, if they are bullied in school, so you will find them, maybe they want to avoid to go to school. They have a very low self-esteem. Or sometimes they are really aggressive. Because when we say, when we are adult, oh, something has triggered me. Because when I was a child, someone make me feel that I'm not good enough. I'm not beautiful. I don't look good. There is something I'm missing in me. And at that time, my parents even didn't pay attention that even if I refuse to go to school, what is the reason for that? If I'm getting aggressive or I get triggered by maybe some very generic comments, or even someone tells me you're not looking good, and I get conscious and just step back, and I have a very low self-esteem. So these are the signs which parents or whoever the primary caretakers are, even it goes the responsibility to the teachers, that to observe the kids. We are only observing what grades they are bringing, how many numbers they're scoring in their school. Are they toppers? Are they losers? That's how we're defining them. So bullying is a very deep traumatic experience for any kid. So I would say that if we are really so much concerned about the kids' mental health, or the young people at home, we are really concerned about their mental health, then we need to pay close attention on the signs, how they're behaving, even if they're feeling low, what they're doing it. So what we can do, the most important thing is to create an open communication. And I'm sorry to say, but I understand that at this age, when the kids are very young, parents are so busy in earning and in their work. And of course, that is also required because they are the providers for their kids. So they have to take care of their expenses and everything. But at the very same time, we are also responsible for our kids as well, right? So how much time in a day we are giving them to communicate? We ask, okay, how was the school? Did you do your homework? Everything is done? Okay. So is there any note from the school? When is your next exams? But how often we just sit with them and just ask them what they're feeling about it? Who are their friends and what they really feel about it? And how can they be more sure of themselves, even if they're suffering from bullying? Normally, kids don't know even how to express it. Unless and until we don't give them that confidence, we start talking to them, we even don't know what they're going through. And especially when you find your kids are bullied, So you have to go to the school and talk to the management and find some way out. This is a very deep traumatic experience, and not everyone comes out of it. Not everyone actually do some self-work and, come out of this trauma. Sometimes it goes on in your life, and it is expressed in different ways because you kept on feeling that you're not good. And that reflects in your professional life, your personal life, in your relationship, everything. Same as when we talk about anxiety and depression and parental expectations. That is also the same thing. I have found like there is so much pressure. Even I had an experience last year. I visited to my home country, and I found there was so much competition in schools that my cousins and everyone, they're telling me, oh, the kids have to take the 100% marks. I say, how can you take 100% marks in these subjects? It was always only in maths. She said, no, now it has to be 100% in every subject. And this is a competition, and this is how the merits are set. And how much pressure I was saying you're putting on your kids. Give them a break. Why they have to be 100% in every subject? It's not humanly possible. And you are putting a lot of pressure on them. You are judging them. And even I've seen parents where it's like the kid, I think she got 10th position in the class. And she said, 10th? Why you're not the topper? Why not the top 3? Have you ever understand how it is impacting? Is it academics the only thing? Is this the only talent they have? Maybe they are not good at academics, but they are good at sports, arts, or something else, because everyone is born with some kind of talent. And that is our job to find that and help them. What talent you have? Because with all these pressures, what we keep putting on the kids, especially I've seen in my home country, there is so much pressure on high marks, high targets, and high merits. And you have to be like, I don't know, super genius to get into some top colleges. And this has really, I find it terrible, the school system. So this is the reason sometimes you have these withdrawal symptoms in your young kids. They are maybe with so much pressure, they can't even perform. Maybe they're good at studies, but when they keep thinking, oh, I have to score this much, otherwise my father will say this, my mother will say this, otherwise, and especially when we do the comparisons, look at your elder brother, look at your elder sister, and this is very common. Look at the neighbors. Oh, she scored or he scored so high. How come you cannot perform? So even the kid is going for exams, you're so nervous, they can't even perform. So I think as an adult, this is a responsibility on us that we look at the signs, the behavior of the kids, and what is the reason behind it. And maybe we can help them with setting some routines and some calming techniques, because something we never teach kids is how to manage their stress, even how they don't know even how to name that emotion. So first of all, we have to be more kind and compassionate to them. And then we can help them to teach them how to maybe breathe, have a deep breathing to calm themselves down when they're going for exams or whenever we find them stressed. And most of the time, we don't validate their feelings. Sometimes they want to express, no, I'm not feeling this. And we immediately deny it. No, what you're saying is not correct. We don't even validate their feelings. I know a friend, and whenever she is a school teacher, but whenever the kids are saying something, so she thinks as a mother, she knows better. So whenever the kids will say something, no, what you're saying is not correct. It was this, like that. I say, okay, just first hear them out. Maybe from your perception, they are wrong, but not from their perception as a kid. They are feeling something in a very certain way. Let them help to express that. we don't, even if you think as a parents or as a teacher even, that whatever the kid is saying, maybe that's not true. Still, you validate their feelings. Help them to express first. Be on their side. And then only they will start trusting you. And then only they will start communicating with you. Any one of you have such experience with your kids or any younger one at home? I would like to hear from your experience. How you're, if any one of you is having kids and you're facing any kind of challenge with them, how you're dealing with them with this age group. No one?
Miss Asma, I can also read some from the chat box.
Okay, yeah, please.
So a few people shared their experience. So a few comments that have come through so far. Parenting is an important aspect in the life of the child. So many children suffer mental health. That was from Gaini. Miss Ruth actually shared her story. She says, I was depressed in my childhood as I was the black sheep in the family. So everything I did or said was never appreciated, to a point where if there was a shortage of food, I was the one who had to go without. My siblings turned against me. My mother turned a blind eye to every abuse that was inflicted on me. I ended up getting married at a young age just to get away from them. Luckily, my husband was loving and caring. We had 4 children together, including twins. We were married for 39 years and then he passed away. I thank God that I managed to raise my children with love and care. Today, they are all educated, happily married, and have good jobs. Even today, I still ask myself why I was subjected to such ill treatment from my mother and all my siblings, but I have long forgiven them and moved on with my life. So that was one. And then Miss Ambe shared absentee parenting and delegating parenting roles to other caregivers who may not be patient enough to hold open communication with children is greatly impacting their mental health in my context. So maybe I'll just stop there and we can read the
Yeah,
others later for the sake
yeah,
of our
thank
time.
you.
Yeah. So I think a few people have shared.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. And it's very deep and insightful. We all have our own experiences. Honestly, I feel that. I feel that because I tell you something about myself as well. When I was a child, my father was like, he was very loving, always been very loving, but he was a very busy businessman. So he was like all the time so busy in his life and very hectic schedules. And he provided us really well, good school, good home, everything, like good clothes, all the luxuries, everything. But as a child at that time, now when I recall that, my requirement at that time, maybe I didn't understand what is the difference between a good school or a bad school or luxury home or a regular home or whatever. But what I really wanted is his time and attention. I remember when my tutors used to come, I used to say, no, I want my father to come and he should sit with me and he should teach me and he should, do the homework with me. And even when there was any event in the school, so I always push my father, you have to come to my event. I want you to be there. I want you to see me. So the pattern I developed as a child was I wanted to be seen. And how that reflected when I was in my adulthood is that when I started working and just I wanted to be seen, like in front of, especially this, I would say like acceptance from my father, or it's not that he ever pushed me back, but he never realized that how much attention I wanted from him or time I wanted from him or what was my expectation as a child. Even I don't know how to even express that. So how it reflected in my adulthood is that when I started working, I started doing everything what will support my father in his business, in his work, in his life. And I was like so closely knit to my parents that even I was thinking, oh, I don't want to get married. I never thought of having kids, getting married. It's always like, my parents, I have to be with them, I have to support them. And later in the life, when I was on my own self-discovery journey, at that time I realized why this pattern was there, because as a child, I always wanted to be seen. And this is how I reflected in my adulthood. When I was working, I was doing every possible thing so I could be, a star of his life. And he for him is like more than his sons. I was there for him, and this whole pattern where even I ignore my own personal needs just because I wanted to be seen by my parents. So yes, that I believe it was not intentional from any parent. Someone also shared their childhood story, which is, I can understand, very painful and traumatic, but I think there was no awareness at that time. And now this is what we're doing, creating more awareness, talking about it. And now I feel parents are more aware how to raise their child and, how mental health is important. That's why these kind of discussions or these kind of seminars or webinars is very important to create more awareness. So our parents didn't do that intentionally. So of course we have to forgive them and we have to move on in our life. But now what we are learning, that's something we need to apply for our kids, and also to educate the people around us. This is really important role we have to play in this, whoever is getting this awareness. So yeah, so that's my personal story. So the same thing what we are discussing about how traumatic our childhood experiences can be. They could be the family stress. And that's why kids sometimes just unnecessarily they're showing tantrums, aggression, or they cry very easily because somewhere they feel the hurt, but they don't know how to express that. And sometimes they're complaining, or they're telling us, oh, we are having nightmares. So these are not the ordinary things. That's what I keep on saying. Read the signs, read the signs. Closely observe your kids. If they are behaving in a certain way, then try to understand what is their issues, what is their concerns, and especially when we have to teach them some emotional vocabulary. We will talk about name it to tame it, how we can give some name to our feelings. And it's more of like, again, we have to help our kids. First of all, it's a communication. Talk to them, understand them. Don't deny their feelings. Maybe you think, no, the kid is lying. Maybe they are lying. It's possible. Sometimes kids, they want to hide their feelings and it's not easy to understand. But first of all, you have to acknowledge them. You have to help them to understand what exactly they are feeling and how they can address it. And that's why some kids are having learning disorders. They have ADHD, they have focus difficulties. And especially I've seen so many times, if your kid get flunked in some subject, so we parents get so upset. Oh, why he didn't do well in this subject? So, there is always pressure. How can you fail the exam? How can you do this? Maybe that is not his strength. So why so much focus on that? I always acknowledge the academics, of course, are very important, but we should understand that academics are not just to be a topper or to be a high scorer. Academics are to gain knowledge. Help them to gain knowledge. They might be good at something and they're not good at something. If they're not being able to focus, if they have certain behavior, so how you are helping them to address that? Because as an adult, that's our responsibility. So there is always, different ways of addressing it. So you can, sometimes you coordinate with the teachers in the schools. You talk to them and you tell them our kid is facing this. Is there any issue in the school? Because most of the time, kids, what they're experiencing in the school, sometimes they don't share at home. So how closely you are helping your kid and monitoring them, that will help you. Now the purpose is here not to suffocate the kids by always being vigilant on them, but to understand and help them, support them. So maybe you have to coordinate with the school people and understand from their teachers, from their primary caretakers in the school, what exactly they're going through. How's their behavior in the class? because we can't only start looking at the kids, even if they were toppers in the school, if they are very high scorer, that doesn't mean they don't have any emotional issues and they're perfect kids. There are no perfect kids. But the thing is that sometimes we think if the kid is really doing well in school, academics, everything is going fine. So they're doing really fine, but you don't know. I know a kid who is a topper. And once I was she is, I think, 10 years, 11 years. And once I saw her, I was at my friend's place, and she's her daughter, and she came from school, and immediately she changed, and she had this long list where she was writing to-do list. Today I've come from school, I have to complete my homework, I have to do this cleaning, I have to do this, 10 things. And then immediately start working on that. I said, what's going on with you kids? You just came from school. So why this is whole long to-do list? Because her mother is a perfectionist. So that's another story, because perfectionism is not being very good. It's a reflection of low self-esteem. So her mother is like, everything has to be perfect. So she is replica of her mother. She is under constant pressure that everything at home has to be perfect. Everything at school has to be perfect. She has to be a topper. So she will be seen by her mother. She will be acknowledged by her mother. She will be appreciated by her mother. Sometimes when she is scolded by her mother, she complains that I do everything to make my mother happy. Why she's scolding me? So imagine what mental level she's going through. So this is not, I would say, when I looked at it, I didn't appreciate it. I didn't say, this is something wrong with this kid. You're telling me she's a topper and she is like that, the same kid. Why is 99 out of 100? It has to be 100 out of 100 because I'm the perfect kid. So that behavior is not appreciated. I mean, you can't say, oh, she's the topper, she does everything perfect at home, so that kid is doing perfectly fine. No, that kid is going through a deep traumatic experiences at home, where she wanted to be perfect, where she doesn't want to be scolded by her parents. So even if you find your kid is doing really well, don't think that behind the scenes there is no other story. Even though if things look apparently fine, still have that level of communication with your kid to understand if there is something really they're going through. Because I find that kid sharing everything with her siblings, what emotional pain she's going through, just to be a perfect kid at school and at home. So these are the signs which we need to observe and closely monitor our kid, especially I will emphasize again this age, up to 10 years old, up to 12 years old is the age where we are developing the beliefs about ourselves, our self-perceptions, our self-image, how we look at the world, what is right, what is wrong, do and don'ts, all these things we are learning in this phase. So this phase is really critical. We just can't ignore it. Okay, they're still, I know their parents, well, they're still kids. So when they will they grow older, they will understand. No, then they will not understand. They will just reflect what they have learned at the early age. So this is the reason the change becomes more difficult. The more we get more mature, we get like in the adulthood, we're getting more mature because we're very used to of certain belief sets. We are very used to of certain perceptions about life, about people, about everyone around us. So this is the very critical age where you have to pay more attention so you can have a better result at a later stage. Okay, any questions? Anyone want to say something?
Yes, ma'am. I totally relate with you, even with your own story about not parents being not being emotionally available since they were always in the survival mode because of the environmental conditions there. So still now, I feel my parents are not emotionally intelligent on that part. They still think of me and put their health behind. But now it is an automated thing for them. And I totally believe that in today's scenario, there is so much competition with with the introduction of technology and AIs, etc. That I have a niece of 4 years, and the work she's getting in her school times with the activities, no doubt it is being uh, very insightful and very practical for learning things, but it somehow creates a burden on the parents. And uh, instead of getting it done it on school, the teachers are also putting it on the parents. So it creates an irritability which obviously affects the child even at school also. So I totally relate with you that thing. And the first 12 years are really, really very important. Not just because that it is gonna build our self-respect for ourselves, for our self-doubts, but also for making sure that you are, because in that period, if you are given the love and validation, so you will not seek it from outside. So the recovery, even if you will face traumas or any incidents in your life, the journey back will be shorter, I guess. So that was my intake, and I totally relate with you that.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Really appreciate it. And very rightly, you have said that when our emotions are not validated from our parents or our primary caretakers, so we are always seeking external validation because we don't trust ourselves. So there are many incident and that's what I'm talking about the schools part as well, that I don't understand even this whole pressure in the school environment. I think it's very important that this awareness is only not for the parents but for the teachers as well. Those whoever are running the schools have to learn first of all and have that awareness that how important this mental health or these unnecessary academics pressure is affecting the mental health of kids. Because that's what I find, like, why it's so important to have 100 by 100. You have to be a topper. How many examples do we have if you practically look in the world that all the toppers are very successful or the high scorers are very successful? Sometimes in the practical life, most of the time in the practical life, they are not very successful. They're failures because something what we are not teaching to our kids is life skills and how we're going to manage our emotion. That's why when we leave our school, colleges, universities, and then we go to the work and we get exposed to the world, we are lost because we have different perception of the world outside of our home and colleges because we were so protected by parents, by our environment. We don't know even what's happening outside. Now I find the kids are really very entrepreneurial and they are at very young age. They are learning and they're starting their business, which is really amazing. But at the very same time, they are also under constant pressure. So it's very important for the mental health when we talk about to teach these skills at school, at home as well. So that's what we're saying. The kids, they cannot express their precise feeling. Even I'm not talking here today about the child abuse, but that's also a very grave and critical matter which we need to address because so many kids have experienced the child abuse in many forms, whether at school, at home, outside of their house, and that those are having very traumatic experience. And that's why kids even don't know how to even express that when they experience that. But later on in the life, it affects in different behavior, especially if it's a woman and she has experienced that. For her boundaries are breached, and it's always very difficult for her to trust anyone in the relationship, and she developed the trust issues. So there's like, and kids don't express these things. Now I know that parents are educating their kids and they're telling them there's a bad touch, good touch, and they are more aware of it. But still, honestly, I have, like, how many cases I've handled in therapy, I would say 90% of them, they have experienced child abuse and they could never express to their parents. None of them, they could ever share their pain, their experience with their parents, because I feel at that time maybe the kids get scared. They don't know even how to express it. That's why I emphasize it's very, very important to have the open communication with your children. to know what they're going through and look at their behaviors, their signs. If it's something is not going normal and they're avoiding, maybe sometimes they avoid social gatherings, and we think, okay, it's fine. They're sitting with their computer, but they're sitting with their phones. It's fine. No, it's not fine. Why are they avoiding people? There must be something behind it, or avoiding certain people. So it's more of like, like a hawk. You have to keep watching your kids' behavior, and they need support. Otherwise, in our adulthood, we can see the effects of all these traumatic experience what we have as a child. And next, when we talk about the children between 13 to 24, I won't say children, but it's like your youth, and when you're getting younger, you're into your teens. So this is the age where it's your transition age, where you wanted to be more independent, and you are developing your identity, and there is also a peer pressure. So there was a research which mentioned that 75% youth in a recent study screened positive for moderate to severe depression. This is a very high number. 75%. It's a very high number. And then in the college students, what we were discussing now, this burnout, isolation, panic attacks, is just 60% meeting the criteria for at least having one mental health condition. This is how serious it is. So normally at this age, what they're facing is a peer pressure, identity issues. And the signs, what we look at, that they have sometimes they have drastical. I've seen, especially in teenage, parents always find it's very challenging to handle their teenagers, because their physiology is also changing. So hormones are changing and their mood swings are there. And there are also a lot of peer pressure is there. So you will find like these kind of signs in them. Maybe they're changing their friends, or most of the time they're having confusion about the self-image, because as they said, when your hormones are changing, sometimes kids are getting obese, they're overweight, or they're having these pimples on the face, and they're so concerned about the self-image. Even I'm so surprised to see sometimes kids that they're so conscious about their look, their skin. It's good to take care of yourself, but being so conscious can also affect your confidence and your self-esteem as well. So that's why it's very important that we create those safe spaces for our kids whenever we find that there is some changes happening in their behavior, or you find that they're so conscious about their self-image. Sometimes even it's about not that young person. There was a colleague of mine. He was around, I think, 28, 29. And we were having, I was working in bank at that time, and we were having some, I think, bank occasion was there, some event was there in the evening. And I said, are you coming? He said, no, I'm not coming today. I said, why? What happened? Oh, I got 2 pimples on my face. He was not a female, even a guy. And I was thinking, I said, what? Are you serious? Just because of that reason? He said, no, I won't look good. And then I realized that what self-image he's carrying. And trust me, he was a very good-looking person, very good-looking guy. And he was so conscious about his self-image that he even didn't show up in that event just because he was having 2 pimples on the face. Even he was the one who used to tell us, use this mask, that mask, go to that spa, have this treatment, have that treatment. And he used to tell himself about, oh, I was so ugly. My teeth were not in the shape, and I did this treatment, I did that treatment. So whenever I look at him, I used to think what he has gone through as a child, what self-image he had, even though he is such a good-looking person. But he himself is so conscious about himself that he will not show up in front of the people just because he's having 2 pimples on the face. So these behaviors are not normal. And that's what I'm saying. This is not coming, I'm sure this has not developed in his in 20s, somewhere as a child. He has developed this image that, like someone has shared this story, that she was bullied at school because of her nose or her looks. And that bullying has such a deep trauma. So I'm not sure, maybe he has a similar experience. And that was reflecting even as an adult who was 28, 29 years old, and he is so conscious to show up in people. So that's why it's very important that whenever we find such behaviors, even in our teenagers, in our young people, and even if someone is in this webinar who is like in 20s even. So even if you have any kind of such behavior, or you think have certain image about yourself, so it's a time to rethink about it. Where is this really true? Because sometimes to validate our feelings, we can question ourselves. Whatever I'm feeling about myself, is it really true? Who told me this? I'm not beautiful. Who told me that my hair is not good, or my skin is dark, or with pimples I don't look good? Who told me this? Is that really true about myself? So sometimes to validate our feelings, we have to question ourselves. Whatever I'm thinking about myself, is this really true? Where is this coming from? Because now as an adult, you have this awareness that we have certain beliefs, and that certain beliefs doesn't mean that those beliefs are true. Because somewhere someone has told us, I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm stupid. I don't know how to handle things. I can't take responsibility. Or there are so many things which we got as a child from our parents, from our teachers, from some caretakers. And they're always telling us, or they're a comparison, that person is better than you. And that's why even in my corporate life, in my professional life, I have seen such whereas people behavior, they are very highly qualified. They are good at their work, but they're so reluctant to show up in the meeting. They're so reluctant, even they know their stuff very well, but they just step back before saying anything because they think they might be wrong. And I always encourage them, even if you think you're wrong, speak. What will happen? Even if you're wrong, you will learn something. But somewhere, someone has told them as a child that whatever you're saying is not correct, or you don't know, or you're not good enough, or you're stupid, or you talk nonsense, whatever. Even our vocabulary, what we use with the kids is very important. We don't even sometimes realize what we are telling to our kids. Don't do this. I've seen so many, don't do this, don't do that. You will fall from here, you will fall from there. Fine, it's good to have a safety for your kids, but let them also learn. If you keep putting these barriers for them, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, they start putting up those boundaries that maybe they can't do anything, they're not capable. Sometimes we have to allow them to do maybe some, at times in some certain safety, but some risky things or some activities where they're more adventurous. Because if you don't allow them to be adventurous or try something new in their life, we are just restricting their capabilities and abilities, and they will never believe in themselves. So the same thing, we have to create those safe spaces for them, and we have to help them to identify who they are and encourage their positive peer support. Same as we're talking about the young kids for bullying and cyberbullying, the same thing is happening with the teens as well, that whenever if they're bullied in their colleges, maybe in their universities, so there is always withdrawal symptoms, and there is suddenly decline in their performance in the schools or colleges. And there is always anxiety around the social media, especially which is now really affecting mental health of our kids. And they are very reluctant to go to the school or university. So which is very important is that we teach our kids, because we can't stop our kids from, of course, from social media. We're living in that global world. So it has side effects, it has like positive effects as well. But our responsibility is to give them some digital literacy. Make them understand, even if you're on the social media, how to process the information, what information do you need to pick, and what information you have to share even. Because most of the cases, even they don't know what they're sharing on screen. And if there is any kind of reaction, because when we're going public and there might be every kind of a person is hitting on the social media, so they could have different responses to them. And when they can't absorb those responses, if those are the negative responses, they don't know even how to react to it, and this affects their mental health. So I think the digital literacy is very important for the kids. How much time they're going to spend on the social media and what they're going to consume, what they need to avoid. And even if there is some negative responses, I know so many kids, they're doing amazing work on the social media. So they're making their videos, they're sharing some knowledge. So sometimes there's a positive comment, sometimes there is a really nasty comment. So it's okay. Ignore those people, move forward. So these kind of information, this kind of support is very important for our kids. We share with them. And of course, we're talking about the resilience skills, and resilience skills is how fast you can get back, even if you're having any setbacks. And we talk about what few exercising activities we're going around this, which you can do it for yourself as well. You can teach your kids as well. We can talk later on that. So any one of you want to share anything on the cyberbullying, if anyone has faced that and how they have handled it? Or your kid maybe have experienced that? Shit. Nothing? All right. So same as when we talk about mental health, you will find eating disorders as well in young kids. And most of the time there is a reason with the body image. And the restricted eating and extreme dieting, and there's a mood changes. Of course, when we are not even feeding our body enough. I think this is very important topic when we talk about the obesity, or sometimes it's not obesity, but it's like you are losing extra weight, and just because of the social pressures, you are looking at the social media and you're having some certain image that you have to look in a certain way. And that's why you're going with extreme diets and some extreme regimes, which is not making you healthy. In fact, it makes you sick. So this body image is very important. When we talk about how do we see ourselves, even if I'm having 2 pimples on my face, even if people think I'm fat, whatever it is, my self-acceptance is very important. And this is very important for all of us, even as adults as well. Do we really accept ourselves, who we are, the way we look? Even if I'm fat, I'm thin, I'm having pimples, I'm having short hair, long hair, whatever it is. The most important thing is that we keep looking around and we still think, I have to look in that certain way, then I'm the perfect person. That pressure is always there. Because we are always looking for external validation. If I'm going to look that thin, I will be more beautiful. Because someone told me, or if you reduce weight, you're at the 0 size or this size, you will look perfect. But who is telling you that in this way only you will look perfect? Maybe if you're very thin, you're not healthy. Then what's the point? It's very important even to teach our kids the healthy lifestyle. Even it's for us as well. I have never, ever believed in dieting. Honestly, never. Because I always feel that it's, unless and until, even if you're obese, there must be some emotional reason that if you were eating the normal person. But generally speaking, if you don't perceive about food, this food is going to make me overweight. This food is, that's a belief what I have about the food. So that's another discussion. But this is the whole belief system. If I'll eat this, it will increase my weight. If I will avoid this, it will help me to reduce weight. I don't believe in that. Whatever is the proper food, eat that. But exercise also. Have some physical activity. And most importantly, how do you see yourself? How much do you accept yourself? I tell you something. generally speaking, most of the females, they increase weight because they feel very insecure. So the bulky body is the emotional weight sometimes, even in the male. It's not necessarily you're eating a lot. There are so many people, they said, we don't eat a lot, we go for exercise, but some reason we are not being able to reduce the weight. I'm sure any one of you have experienced that. So sometimes it's not the food, sometimes it's not the how much exercise or physical activity you're doing. It's your inner belief. How do you perceive yourself? I don't feel secure. My body will increase. I don't feel secure. My body will more increase. And I'm just carrying emotional weight. There's so many people, there's so much work has been done on this that some females have just done the self-love work, just self-acceptance. Whoever I am, I accept myself deeply and completely. I love myself. And just these self-love activities help them to reduce weight. It was not the gym, it was not the food. So it's very important. I know nowadays also if I see in the kids, they are so conscious about their self-image because somewhere, some image they have developed in their mind, that's why they're not happy about themselves. And sometimes these young kids, even as adults, we keep buying expensive clothes and cosmetics and everything just because we want to look good. We don't want to even go outside without makeup because otherwise I look ugly. Where is this whole thing is coming from? Is that really true? So even as an adult, it's very important to understand what self-image we are holding about ourselves. How do we see ourselves? And where is this whole thought is coming from? That if I will not have those fancy clothes, I won't look good. Always remember, it's your aura. It's your what you believe, how you see yourself, people will see you in the same way. People will pick up your energy. So work on your energy. And especially same thing goes for the kids, young kids at home. And I know I have like so many young kids in my own family. They're so conscious about their hair and skin, and they're putting so many creams and everything and they're beautiful. All of us, we are beautiful, but it's more of like self-acceptance is not there. So this is very important. Even eating disorders have a very severe effect on our mental health, on our physical health, and this cannot be ignored. We do go to doctors, we do get those treatments, everything. But again, there is something going inside you, something emotionally going inside you. And this is the reason you are developing all these physical symptoms. And that's why it's very important to promote a healthy body image. Even if you're fat, doesn't matter. You're healthy, that's most important thing. You're not having any disease, that's most important thing. So self-acceptance is very important. This is for our adults also. I know like all of us at some level, as adults also, we're suffering with that. And the same thing we have to teach our kids as well. And we have to help them. And especially at this age is a transition age where we are moving from school to college and we are deciding about our careers. One thing I would like to mention here, this happened with me as well. And so many kids still I talk to, they have the same issue. There is a lot of anxiety when we are moving to high school and college, and we want to decide what we really want to do in our life, and there's no clarity. There is no clarity that we don't know what we really want in our life. Even very recently, I talked to one corporate friend, and she is a project manager, and we were discussing about the burnout in the corporate environment. So I just asked her, I said, do you really know what you really wanted to do in your life? She said, to be very honest, I studied something else. I'm doing something else, but I wanted something else. And what was that something else? She said, I don't know. But one thing I know that this is something I never wanted to do. And this, I don't know, I'm just finding a right word. This gap in our life made a huge impact of not having that sense of fulfillment. And this is why when I said that I did 17, 18 years of corporate, and then I moved to mind sciences, and I moved to this field of mental health and hypnotherapy and all that. Because When I was in my college, I was very influenced by my friends. There was no counseling, there was no. I asked my father because my father had a very strict grandfather. So his father was very strict. So he really pushed him to study only engineering. You have to be engineer, and that's it, no other story. So my father developed this perception that we should give that freedom to the kids, that they want whatever they want to choose, let them choose. So because this was his experience, so he told us, up to you, whatever you want to study. But that sometimes that freedom doesn't even give you any guidance. So you're very influenced at that time with your peers. She has taken this subject. She is studying psychology. She is studying. She's going to medical. Oh, I have to be engineer. I have to be medical. Go into the medical field or whatever. We're so lost at that time. And that creates so much anxiety and stress, and we don't know what is that we really wanted to do in our lives. So it's very, very important for parents, for teachers to give that level of counseling to your these kids at this age, so they can take the right path. They can take the path of fulfillment, because sometimes we have this very like I would say it's a taboo. Oh, that kid is very brilliant, he or she should must go to the medical college, or he or she should be, you know, some NASA engineer or somewhere. So we always have these very high professions where we think if this kid is very intelligent, so only these careers he or she can take. But have you ever realized what is their talent? Everyone is born with some level of talent, but sometimes we think, you can learn this, but you will not earn money in this. Still, I talk to kids, they're learning AI, they're learning IT, and I said, are you really interested in that? They said, we know that we can earn good money out of it. Fine. Earning good money is very important in life, but at the very same time, will that give you a sense of fulfillment? And that's what happened. And that's what happened to me as well. When you reach to a certain level, when you achieve certain goals, money, you earn luxury home and your lifestyle, then you feel that hollowness. And I know so many people in the corporate life, I asked them actually, do you really want to be a banker? They said, no, I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to be this, I wanted to be that, but now it's too late. That's the answer we give to ourselves. Now it's too late. No, it's never late. But coming back to the point, at this stage, there is a lot of anxiety among kids. They don't know what exactly they want in their life, what will give them happiness, what will give them fulfillment. And we usually, and also there's another point I want to add here. I have seen people, they said, I wanted to be a doctor, for example. I never got that opportunity. Now I want my kid to be that. I want my kid to live that dream. And I always tell them, no, you have to, you were supposed to live your dream. If you couldn't live your dream, it doesn't mean you have to impose on your kids, they have to live your dream. No, they have their own life. There is something else. And till then, I'm saying kids, even after taking their professional degrees in medical, engineering, or whatever, they have switched to some other field. They said, fine, we have done this degree, but now we realize we were never interested in doing that. But my interest is in some other subject, and I want to take that field. So it's a very stressful period for kids. Sometimes even we don't realize that, and we tell them, okay, it's your freedom, do whatever you want. And I'm sure in this webinar, there are people, those who have the similar experience. Anyone would like to share that? You studied something else and you wanted to do something else, and maybe you have taken some decision on that, or maybe you are still going on in the same field where you're not happy.
Yes,
Anyone would
hi,
like?
Miss Asma.
Hi.
Yes, hi, Tinashe. Yes. So when I was in high school, my parents, they were quite good, but they were always kind of encouraging me, no, study something more in business or management, or just something, we call them commercial studies. So I ended up studying marketing management because, I was very expressive and they said, okay, you do
Mm.
that. So I did do that, but actually deep down, I really wanted to study psychology because I was always interested in human behavior. And then, so I did do marketing. I worked in 10 years in corporate. And then now I actually came back, and then now I've studied counseling and I'm now a counselor. So I did then come
Mm.
back after doing what my parents wanted, yeah, to my own calling, and I'm quite happy now.
Perfectly fine. So good. For me also, when I took this decision and everyone told me, oh, you can take therapy and counseling as your hobby, but not your career. Now you're in corporate ladder, you have climbed that ladder, you're
Mm.
here, you're earning this much money. So that influence is always your external influence, but you have to do something where your heart goes. And I won't say I have lost those many years because every experience is a learning experience. I learned a lot on these corporate years, and that experience I'm using now in trainings. But yeah, I think it's a very important age where we need to guide because that's what I'm saying. Like they always think if they have this certain ability, so maybe these are the only ABC fields they can do it. But you never know, they want to do something else, and that deep digging has never happened. I think it's a responsibility in the schools where the teachers can help to identify your talent because at that time also we are lost. We don't know that is this something really I wanted to do. So this kind of counseling and this kind of support is very important, and it's less stressful because when the kids are studying something which they really enjoy studying, so they will also enjoy. They will have less stress. I had one webinar where one kid was in graduation and he said that I'm doing this degree, but I'm not happy. So that is another level. And I felt that hopelessness in his voice because he didn't know that what he's going to do after that degree because he was just not interested in that. And there is always this parental pressure as well. When parents say, oh, we have spent so much money on your this degree and now you're saying you don't want to do this. So it's not acceptable. So that pressure is also there on the kids. So I think it's very important to support them to understand and just see where they can fit in well. And same anxiety, depression, addiction, suicidal thoughts, and self-harm. This is what we're discussing about the suicide rate is very high now, and it's very I would say it really hurts me whenever I hear the young kids are going through such a pressure and they are into deep depression, and of course the depression leads to such a suicidal thoughts where you just want to give up. There is no hope for you and you keep blaming the economy or maybe there is no one at home to support. But I think all you need is the emotional support. So it's very important that even we look around. Maybe there are people those who need our help. They want someone to hear them out. And whenever we see that someone is just talking about death a lot, or someone is just giving away their things and they're thinking, okay, the life is going to end now, so give away their things. So these are very serious signs when any kid, even adult, are behaving like that, and we need to pay attention to them and we need to give them support because sometimes it's just like few words of support and compassion helps them to change their mind. And also you find like so many young kids, they are into drugs addictions because they say they cannot handle the life pressure. That's what I was saying, that in schools we are not teaching the life skills. In schools we are teaching biochemistry, physics, math, whatever. But whenever we face that life in the real time, so sometimes kids doesn't know how to handle even their emotions and the pressure. And that's why it's very important to understand their early signs and see if we see that they're harming themselves or they're getting addicted to some drug, or most of the, especially boys, if you see, even now I see in girls as well, at a very young age, they've started smoking. So because smoking is just not a fun for them. There is somewhere they feel that when they're puffing, they're just releasing stress. So these are the very important signs when we need to observe. When we see the young people around us, they're getting into the stuff, or they sometimes they are showing in their behavior. So that's why we can't live a very ignorant life. We have to live a conscious life about ourselves also and the people around us as well. So whenever you find these signs, so of course, we have to teach them how can they, first of all, hear them out, have that communication with them. So at least they can express what they're going through. And then there are certain things we can help them to teach then breathing techniques or journaling. We talk about it, how the breathing can help you to calm down, which is we think it's very simple thing, but how it affects our mind, I will talk about it later. And we encourage the open conversation, what we're talking about. And also we have to normalize to have the therapy. This is, I think, even in our insurance, those who ever get the insurance card, they should also include the mental health services. This is very important because we are not normalizing it. People, even if they go to any psychiatrist or any therapist and counseling, they still hide it from people. If I go to a medical doctor, I will never hide it. I will tell them, yeah, fine, I went to a dentist, I went to a surgeon, I went to this doctor or that doctor. But if I'm seeing some psychiatrist or some counselor or someone who's taking therapy, people don't talk about it. Because somewhere we still have that stigma that if I'm seeing any mental health expert, so it means there is something wrong with me. Of course, there is something wrong even when there is physical problem is there. That is also something wrong. But we are programmed like this. As a child, what we have seen in our environment, now a lot of awareness we're spreading, but as a child, we are programmed like this, that going to a medical doctor is perfectly fine, but we are not normalizing these conversations, and we are not normalizing that, fine, I'm seeking some therapist. I'm sending my kid to a therapist. Even I have seen some very abusive families where the kids are really suffering, and I keep telling them that, you know what, you have to send your kids to some psychologist or some therapist, because you have no idea with your home environment what they're picking up and how it's going to reflect in their adulthood. But still we ignore that. We think, no, the kids are doing fine because they're scoring really well in the school. Because I know of one family, they have a very abusive relationship, but the kids are really good at academics, and they think everything is fine. Even I ask that female that, do you really think if you're raising your kids in a very healthy environment and it doesn't have any effect, and they really want to live with their father who is like very abusive? She said, kids don't want to leave. I don't think so. I don't trust her what she was saying, because it's not kids, it's you who doesn't want to leave that relationship for whatsoever reason. But we don't understand that what impact is having on the kids, even their own mental health, how it's affecting this abusive or traumatic relationships. They have a deep trauma on the kids as well. So we have to normalize it. And how we're going to normalize, first we need to talk about it. We have to set those examples. Fine, I'm seeing a therapist, I'm going to one counselor, I had my sessions. So even if we're doing that for ourselves, we need to talk about it. We need to share with other people, so it become normal for everyone to have this kind of conversations. We don't talk about it. It's just like hiding thing, because I met some females and they always say, I have something to discuss, but I want to discuss it alone. Please don't share with anyone that I share with you. Because you don't want to have those open conversation in front of other people. You think it's a shame. So that stigma, that taboo is still there, that if you have any emotional issues, so it's a shame. You feel guilty by sharing with others. So I think we can, as change makers, we can take that initiative to start talking about it. Start telling people, fine, I'm seeing a therapist. I've sent my kid to see a psychologist. My kid is taking those sessions. My kid is having some psychological analysis. So it gets normal for everyone. And we have to normalize this. And that's what I've mentioned here, that it's normally we see the kid at this age, or the young kids, that, or maybe they're very moody and they're acting out, but actually they need more empathy. They need more safe space and guidance, and they need early access to support. And that's why we can't ignore that. If they have mood tantrums, if they have behavioral changes, we can't think, I heard like people say that, oh, it's a part of this age, their hormones are changing, so their things are changing, so that's why they're just behaving in a certain way. No, there are some emotional things they're going through, and they don't know how to process it. So you're always finding maybe some kind of addiction, maybe smoking, or it's addicting to social media, constantly on the screen, because you want to distract yourself. So those behaviors we need to observe, and we need to give them support with all this awareness. So, till now, any questions, anything you want to discuss before we talk about like how can we address these mental health challenges? Anything anyone wants to like to share, or any suggestion, your story you want to share?
I must say you have said everything right. Like, people are so used to their normal state that they think even screaming is normal, although it is not at their other workplace. So it becomes their normal state, and they consider it to be like a normal nature. That, for example, one of my friend is aggressive. So
Hmm.
the sister got married to a person who is aggressive, but he's less aggressive. So he was like, "Humse to kam hai na." In aggression. So we treat it as normal. So we think that even the less intensity of that thing trait, it is fine, it is better. But we don't know, because we are so used to that environment. Even in me also, there would be many qualities I would be considering normal, but it would not be. But it is about will be in a state of awareness that I know that thing, but obviously, since I'm for 20 to 30 years, I will be in that thing. So even if I am accepting it, even if I'm trying it to do, still somehow it will come out in one way or the other. So it is a thing that we need to work on, and it can be done only by awareness and acceptance, and obviously consistent efforts. So that
Exactly.
was for
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. If you must have observed so many females into abusive relationship where I know, like even my close friends, and uh they, because one of the friend, I really helped her for a few months, and finally she took a decision to come out of that relationship, and now she's very happy with her life. But I was very curious to know that why she was in that relationship for 15, 16 years with all those abuses. So she told me, as a child, somewhere she perceived that she deserved that. She deserved to be treated like that. And even as an adult, for 15, 16 years in that relationship, she said, whenever my husband was doing wrong to me, I always believed I deserved that. Even though I was in a pain, but I was not having that courage. And no one was, see, it's very easy to tell someone, take divorce. They can't. They can't. They can't take that step. Even this friend, she went to the court for, I don't know, 5 times, and she was sitting outside in the car, and she told me, I'm here in the car, but I can't go inside the court. I don't know if my husband will harm me or something will go wrong. And she was literally shivering. She was not ready with it, because the thing is that we sometimes we tell someone, do this. They can't do it because somewhere their mind is programmed in some other way, and they don't have a courage to take there is no sudden change. It has to be gradual shift, and the gradual shift happen with awareness. First of all, you get aware that you are in a pain. Sometimes we get numb to our feelings, and we don't even understand we are in a pain, we are suffering. So we make it normalized because that comfort zone has become, even we are painful, but that's a comfort zone. We are scared of change because our brain tells us fight and flight mechanism that just it's okay. Where you are, you don't know if you will do something else, what will happen. And it's very difficult for us to break that barrier. That's why it's very important to take help. You can't, every time you can't keep struggling with yourself. Sometimes, no matter how much motivational videos you will watch on the YouTube, how much inspirational stuff you will read, everything, it will give you some dopamine for some time, and you're happy, and you can think, I can change my life. And after 30 minutes, you're back to square. Or next day, you're back to the same mood because there is some deep rooted things which are not being addressed. So there you need someone's help who can help you to dig down, and gradually you come out of those feelings. And then only you can reach to some decision to change in your life. You, not everyone can do those sudden changes. So that's why the first step, when we talk about resilience, so resilience is not that we will not have any struggle in life, or we have something like that. Sorry. Resilience is about how fast you can get back to the life challenges, because this is life. Challenges will occur. Some days are easy, some days are difficult, and challenges will be there. Some sort of challenges we keep facing as human beings. That's how the whole life design is there. But what is most important, I always say this thing, they don't think that God has sent you in this world to suffer. He gives you the challenges, but it's not that he didn't send you with any weapons. Sorry. So your weapon is your brain. Your weapon is your mind and your emotions. And these are your inner weapons. You don't need any external help for that. These are your inner weapons. When you use it in the right way, you can get back to the life challenges. You can resolve them. You can sort them out. So that's why we are the highest creature among all the creatures God has created. Because the capability what we have, none of the other creatures have. And that is our brain, our mind, our emotions. If you train yourself how to think, how to behave, how to feel in a certain situation, you will act differently. So first of all, what is important is self-awareness. Name your feelings. When we say about naming our feelings, sometimes I say, I'm feeling very bad. What is bad? I'm feeling very bad is a very generic statement. And the moment I say I'm feeling very bad, my brain will certainly go to fight and flight mechanism. Oh, something is not safe here. So immediately I get into anxiety and stress. But rather than if I say, I'm feeling anxious because I have this presentation and I'm getting some nervous here. So this way, we activate our prefrontal cortex, which is our thinking brain. And the moment I will name my feeling and I'll say, fine, I'm feeling anxious because I'm having this presentation and I'm feeling nervous for that. And that's why I'm feeling in a certain way. So it's not now bad. It's about fine, I'm anxious and I have this reason. That's why. So my nerves will calm down. And then I will start thinking, fine, even though if I'm nervous, so what I can do? I will just think, fine, I have prepared very well for this presentation. Let me do my best and I hope everything will go fine. And this is how you tell yourself, communicate more positively to yourself. So first of all, whenever you're having any kind of emotion, just name those emotions and understand why you're feeling in certain way. That's one thing. So that's first step is done. Second thing, what you can do about it. Rather than flowing in that emotion and not recognizing what it is. So that's why the self-awareness is very important. Why there's a lot of emphasis on journaling? Just because when we are just thinking and thinking and thinking, we are creating the negative images in our mind. The moment we will start writing, there is more information coming from our inside. Fine, this is what I'm feeling and this is how it is. And you write it down. It is just like a venting. From your brain, from your mind, you are putting that on the paper and you are taking it out of your system and then you feel better. So maybe this seems a very simple things to do. Oh, we read about a lot. Okay, do journaling, do some breathing exercises. But have you ever done that? Because sometimes when things you think is very simple, but that's more effective things to do. And our brain is more happy to do simple things rather than complicated things. Have you ever tried doing that? Why breathing help us? We read a lot of breathing will help us. Why breathing help us? Because if you observe, whenever you're stressed, your breathing is very shallow, or when if you are in some worry, it's very rapid breathing you are doing. So when we are doing this rapid breathing, the message goes to our brain that something is not right. So our amygdala part of the brain, which is process our emotions, immediately tell us something is not right, something is not okay, because my breathing is like, I don't know what is going to happen. And then my palms are sweat and there's anxiety in my body. But on the contrary, when you are relaxed mode, you're watching some movie, having fun with your family, friends, how you're breathing, have you ever observed? It's always very slow, normal, and sometimes it's very deep. So that when we are breathing slowly and deeply, that message goes to our brain, everything is okay, I'm safe, and I feel better in my body. Same as, this is the reason whenever you are stressed or in anxiety, or if you're not in a good mood, if just simply you regulate your breathing, you start taking deep breathing, you will feel better. Because the message goes to our brain, everything is okay. It's okay, we can manage. We are safe, because the main purpose of our brain is to keep us safe. So when we regulate our breathing, so that's why we give a message to our brain, and we feel better in our body. So our brain, body, mind, everything is connected. So very importantly is self-awareness. For us also, what we are feeling, what name we are giving to our feeling, and how we reframe it, how we rephrase it, and then how we regulate our emotions. And these are the simple things. I would say breathing is your auto calm button in your body. If nothing else you can do in that moment, just take some deep breaths and acknowledge your feeling. Okay, what exactly I'm feeling, why I'm feeling, okay, what I can do about it. Your brain doesn't know what is happening actually outside of you. Whatever you would tell your brain, that is real for your brain. And that's how it's command to your body. So this is how everything is connected. And so first thing, self-awareness for yourself, for your kids, help them to know yourself better. And then connection is very important for us. We always look for communities. You don't work in silos. We are social animals, and we need support. We need a community where we can support each other, where we can hear out each other, we can see each other. So it's very important to develop some healthy connections. You don't need 100 people to be in your network, but even if there was 5 people, you know that they are like people whom you can trust, with whom you can share. And these relationships, these connections really helps you to, it's really helpful for your mental health, because you always feel some support is there. Even sometimes you just go to your friends and just sit with them and chat for, even if you don't share your thing with them, you feel good. So help your kids also to develop those healthy connections and having those relationships where they feel more safe. And of course, a healthy expression is very important. And when we talk about, it's very important for us to do some creative work, because creativity really helps you to detox yourself from stress and anxiety, no matter what is happening in your life. But imagine if you love doing some artwork and you're just sitting and doing that, the time is lost for you. You're not thinking about anything else, but you are just in that moment. You're doing those paintings or those drawings or those sketching, and you're not thinking about anything else. So this is how you disconnect your mind from a constant worry or constant being anxious. Same as when you go for a sports, you go for an exercise. At that time, your body blood regulation is better than just sitting at home and thinking and thinking and thinking and feeling depressed. So it's very important that for your own self also, and for your kids as well, because you are going to one who is going to set example for your kids. So have some healthy activity with yourself, with your kids, where you have some healthy expressions. And also, we teach our kids the problem solving skills, and it's okay, like we say when we tell our kids, it's okay to fail. Because sometimes I have even seen very young kids when they're playing with their mothers or fathers, so they intentionally let them win. Because if they fail, or if they lose that game, whatever they're playing with them, they don't accept it. This is a very common behavior I've seen. So parents, just for their kids to be happy, they always let them win, but this is not healthy. You have to teach them it's okay to fail, it's okay to lose. It's perfectly fine. You can always get back. So these are also resilient activities which you can teach your kids. So you don't have to make them win every game or any activity you're doing with them, or let them win, because then they feel very happy. I'm the winner. Fine. Give them some happiness for once, twice, but third time, let them lose as well. Let them have those experience of I can fail too, but then I can get back, I can improve myself. So these are the also resilient skills you teach to your kids. And of course, what we were discussing about the positive identity and self-worth. So we also have to appreciate our kids. This is very important. Even if these are very smaller wins, most of the time we even forget to appreciate people, appreciate kids. Even if it's a small thing, we don't even pay attention to it. But that appreciation, that acknowledgement strengthens their self-esteem, strengthens their confidence. So it's very important that even if they're smaller win for yourself, even for your kids, always give them some appreciation, give them some acknowledgement, just appreciate for their work. So this will really help in their self-esteem. And so there are activities which I wanted to share with you. One is we have already discussed emotional labeling exercise, which I said name it to tame it, with basically always give name to your emotion. This is what I'm feeling. And at the very same time, reframe it. This is what we call a self-regulation. One thing is self-awareness. Fine, I'm feeling anxious, not bad. Yeah, so I don't know what bad is. I'm feeling anxious, and because I have this presentation, so I'm nervous if people will judge me. Because why we feel anxious? For example, in this case where we have some presentation we have to present in front of the people, that people may judge me, people may don't like me, maybe I miss something, maybe I'm wrong in something. So there is always a fear of judgment. So first of all, when I'm having this anxiety in this public speaking, also this is the same experience we have. At the same time, just take 3 deep breaths and just ask yourself what exactly I'm feeling. I'm feeling anxious. I'm nervous because I'm presenting in front of so many people. They might judge me. Fine. So there's a fear of evaluation. Then I have to self-regulate myself, self-regulate my emotion. I can reframe it. I can just try this and you will find the difference. At the same time, if you just tell yourself, fine, I did my best, I prepared very well, so let me do my best. Even if I'm wrong, it's okay, I'm learning. So you just lift that pressure and just reframe your mind, and you will see the difference in your performance and your productivity. So this is one thing, and you can teach the same thing to your kids, especially for the kids, for their exam performance and everything, because your kids just have to do their best. They don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be topper. And they don't have to be, taking 100 by 100 marks in their exams. And the breathing technique, there are like many techniques you must have seen on YouTube or everywhere. So I have explained you scientifically how it affects, why breathing is so important, how it can quickly affect your your physiology also, and your stress level as well. So there are many techniques, but I will share with you a couple of techniques. I tell you something, my parents have high blood pressure. And once I told them to do one breathing exercise, which is like alternate nasal breathing, which is if you can close the nose from here, inhale, close from here, and from other nostril, you can just exhale. Inhale, exhale. This seems very simple. I told my parents to do it every day. And the best thing, if you want to create a new habit, any new thing in your daily routine, try to attach that activity with something you're doing daily without miss. For example, my parents, they used to pray 5 times a day. So I told them after every prayer, and I know that they never miss their prayer. So after every prayer, I told them just sit for 5 minutes there and do this alternative nostril breathing. And they did that 7 times. And after 1 month, they told me they have less complaints about their blood pressure. It has really regulated their blood pressure, even though this seems very simple thing. But this is how breathing affects your stress level, your blood regulation. And there's another technique you can do. This is a box breathing. And please teach this to your kids, especially whenever they have this exam pressure or whatever, most of the time academics pressure. So teach these simple things to your kid, which are very effective. And you can do it, your kids can do it. And of course, you have to set an example by doing it in front of them. So they should know that this is this is doable, and they follow the parents or whatever the caretakers at home. So the box breathing is basically you have to inhale, exhale at the count of 4. For example, I'm inhaling count of 4 mentally, then hold for 4 seconds, then exhale at the count of 4, hold for 4 seconds, and then again. So it's just like a box. It's count of 4 on every corner. So first inhale at the count of 4, then hold at the count of 4, then exhale at the count of 4, then again hold at the count of 4. So it's just like, remember, the image in your mind is like a box. So inhale, exhale, hold in between at the count of 4. And even if you keep trying it like twice a day, once a day, you will feel the difference. And also you can do one thing here. If you have any certain feeling where you want to come out of it, maybe you're feeling sad, you're feeling anxious, or you're feeling depressed. So just tell yourself, I'm feeling this. Then do this box breathing for 3 to 5 cycles. I would recommend 5 to 7 cycles, or do it and then ask yourself again how I'm feeling now, and you will feel the difference. Just try it. And then I would like to even ask from the audience if anyone wants to share that how in their difficult situation they managed to get back to their challenge and they resolve it. Just one story I keep, I'm really, I would say inspired by that bamboo story. I would like to share this today. So if you grow a bamboo and you put the seed in the soil, it won't grow immediately. You have to keep watering it for 5 years approximately. After 5 years, it will come out like, I think, 90 or 80 feet high in 6 weeks' time, after 5 years. And for 5 years, you keep taking care of that soil and you keep watering them, you keep nurturing that soil. And then after 5 years, it will shot up by 80 to 90 feet in 6 weeks' time. So it's not that magic happened in those after 5 years and those 6 weeks. The magic happens because it was a constant care for 5 years. Constantly for 5 years, you were giving water to that soil, you were nurturing that soil, and you were taking care of it. And then after 5 years, you got that result that it shot up for 80, 90 feet high in 6 weeks' time. So this is how our self-work is. If you keep working yourself, some people get immediate results, some people take some time to get it, but trust me, it will always benefit you. When we talk about the mental health, it's in our hands. Irrespective how bad the economy is, irrespective how difficult your life challenges are, it's your work environment, your home environment, everything changes with your energy. And that will happen only when you will work on yourself. So don't expect overnight, because you have learned something in 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, you are programmed in a certain way. So don't expect that if today I'll start journaling, today I'll do my self-love thing, then tomorrow I'll have, people do get results maybe in 7 days, 24 hours. It depends how fast they start believing in that work. But it will pay you off. And you have to take ownership of your life. You are responsible for your life. And if you need someone else, so please don't feel shy. Do take that help, because by the end, it's you who is suffering. It's you who is in that pain. And the same thing, if we are doing this, and honestly, the kids follow unconsciously what their parents or whoever their caretakers are, they follow them unconsciously. You have to, it's just like I tell my kid, you know what, today you have to sit for 15 minutes and do some meditation, do some mindfulness exercise. But I never did that in front of my kid. So my kid will hardly ignore it because he has never seen. But even if I don't tell my kid, and in front of them every day on some specific time, I sit and just do 15 minutes of relaxation thing, my kids will unconsciously follow that pattern. So you don't have to teach everything to your kids by telling them, do this, do that. Sometimes they're very reluctant because they have never seen you doing that. It's just like, I never go for an exercise. And then I tell my kids, you know what? Physical health is very important. And exercise is must for you. So from tomorrow, you're going to go for a morning walk. But I'm sleeping myself. My kid will never follow that. So you have to set an example. You have to take action in front of your kid So they will follow unconsciously, even you don't have to tell them. They know, and also when they will see the change in you, they know their results are coming for this certain activity or this certain exercise they're doing, and there are results. That because our brain always look for some evidence, so they see the evidence. If our parents are taking care of themselves, so it means it's really working. So let me try that as well. So anyone would like to share of their story, or I don't know what these lines are coming from, where it's coming. If nothing, then we can move forward. I understand we are just out of time, but very quickly, I want to touch on social media and all this technology pressure, which I keep hearing from parents as well, and everyone, how they can manage that. So, of course, everything has pros and cons, plus and minus. You have positive effects. So, social media technology is your tool as well, it's your trigger as well. So it's a tool if you have to access to any information for your awareness, and people have created really amazing community where these support groups are there, especially for young kids. They have like by sitting even on their laptops, they have good networks, they have good access to the community, they're gaining knowledge from there, they're getting support from there. And you can do like it's a good source of expression and creativity as well. So many kids and even adults, they are working online and they are creating such amazing things, and it's a very creative expression for them. So if we see, of course, it's a very good tool as well to gain benefits out of it, I would say. And then at the same time, it triggers emotionally as well, especially I won't say it's only for kids, it's for adults as well. When we see the comparisons and we look some celebrities or some other people, their pictures, their lifestyles, and we are so much influenced by them. And sometimes they put us in such a low self-esteem. We think, oh, they're living such a good life and why we are suffering. So there are comparison, which is like emotionally affecting us. And especially, I would say it's a good distraction for kids, where we also make use to our kids. I think parents are equally responsible. I keep seeing that their parents don't have a time for their kids. So simply they have given them the gadgets, so they keep busy in that and they don't bother them. So there were times when they would still, I feel there's at some homes, they have this values of at night, let's have dinner together, no phones, no screen time, just sit together, talk to each other. We have forgotten even our board games. You know, we used to play. I remember in my a very young age when we because we were not having these gadgets and all that, and we used to have these board games, and we were it was more engaging, more conversational with our cousins, our friends, and we are having more external activities to do, where we were more physically we were active. But now I think parents are also more busy, and that's why they keep giving these gadgets to young kids as well. And then when they get addicted, then they suddenly try to snatch from them. Oh, their screen time has increased, they can have this problem, that problem, now let's take them the mobile, and then the kids are lost. What happened to us? Before we were like 10 hours on the screen, now there's no screen. I have seen this recently with a friend, and she did this to our kid, and our kid is like, she's just 2 years old, but first you got them used to something, and then suddenly you snatch them. You don't know even how to handle their activities. So I think when we have kids, so it's a big responsibility on us to give them time, to support them, and to help them, I think, engage them in more creative activities rather than just being addicted onto the screen. We can use all these tools for more learnings, but not as addiction or something which is affecting our mental health. Especially there is a lot of cyberbullying, there is harassment. So I think it's very important that we talk about the digital literacy, to teach the kids what information they should be sharing and what information you shouldn't be sharing. Because I find so many people, they're just sharing every single thing about their life. And they got stuck in sometimes some harassment, sometimes there's a bullying there. So I think here we need to not to, I would say, just to put a barrier for our kids, but just to help them understand how to process the information and how they can handle it best. And also the same thing, it's had to be a healthy balance where we teach our kids how best they can use their digital devices and their information, how can they develop healthy habits. And of course, when we teach some routines to our kids that, okay, fine, they can spend 3 hours if they have to do some research or whatever, and then the remaining hours they have to spend here and there. We don't leave them on their own. We set some routines for them. So everything gets into the balance. And sorry. And also, like we said, the role of adults for parents and educators should be modeled. If we are not doing that, if I'm always on the phone, and I've seen so many times, even if I go out for a dinner, I observe in restaurants, you must have also observed. In restaurants also, you find on one table, whole family is sitting and everyone is on their phone. How many times like they just keep down their phone and just discuss something with each other or share something? So even we're going out to have some more value time together and just have some fun, some enjoyment. So we are waiting for the food, and in the meantime, everyone is on the phone. So what habits we have created for ourselves, or what we are projecting to our kids, they will follow the same. So we have to be role models for them. So first we have to do that, and then we can tell them to do something, or they will follow you unconsciously. So that is very important, that we help kids by doing ourselves first. And like I said, we have to encourage the offline activities. That's something we have lost touch of that. Maybe let's go to the park in the evening. Let's just walk. Let's just run there. Or maybe have some board games at home and let's play those games. And I feel those board games have also been very creative. I used to play a lot with my brother because luckily we didn't have those gadgets at that time. But that's something I feel somewhere is lost. So we need to bring them back and find some activities for our kids, because our kids, I find now, very active and they want to vent their energy somewhere. So we have to find those platforms for them and help them to do that. Either they do some supports or they do board games or whatever. But this is how, only by just telling them, oh, don't use phone so much, don't be on the screen all the time. But this will not help them. They will not do it in front of you. When you're not at home, they will do it the same thing again. So these are the routines and habits to set for your kids. And especially like we're talking about, technology, or it's not good or bad, it's a powerful amplifier. The only thing is that how we are going to bridge that connection. That's a awareness what we give to our kids, whether they're using these tools as a trigger or as a tool of learning. So this is the information and this is the guidance we have to give it to them. And especially if you talk about the AI, there is a lot of anxiety going around, even not in the kids, in the adults as well. So maybe tomorrow there won't be any jobs, because now I'm reading a lot after 10 years, 15 years, there won't be any 9-to-5 jobs, and there won't be any jobs. Everything is going to be replaced by AI. So I think this is also some kind of programming we are doing through the social media for our human beings, that AI will replace us. I never believed in that personally. Who has created AI? Who has created this brain? Human beings. And I was in one of the webinar where there was some AI expert, she was talking, and a very beautiful thing she said. She said, one thing AI can never beat human beings, and that is their creativity and imagination. So be more creative, be more imaginative. And that's the skills we need to teach our kids as well. So AI is a tool which can help you to create more jobs, and it will give you more higher skills, but it's not going to replace you. So that pressure, which is a constant pressure on adults and on especially our kids, and they always feel that they have to upskill, they have to learn new things. No, fine, it's okay. It's something new has come up. It's very helpful. It is creating also new jobs and new opportunities as well. So we can always give them some positive reframe that it's creating a new industry for us. It's creating a new jobs for us. So if you want to compete with AI, with this machine, then be more creative, be more imaginative. So all the power is within you. You can use that. So that's what we have to teach them, not even to adapt these changes, what is happening, because we are living in a very fast growing world. So all these changes, and this also upsets us emotionally as well, because we keep hearing so much information. Jobs won't be there. It is going to replace that, and that's overwhelming for us. So it's better to learn more emotional regulation skills. Learn to limit yourself for all this information, and you don't have to process everything. It's not for you to process. I feel it's reprogramming of human minds. You keep telling them there won't be jobs, there won't be jobs, there won't be jobs, people will be more scared. So rather than we help our kids and ourselves as well by telling them, fine, doesn't matter, AI is there, fine, it's very helpful tool. Let ourselves upskill with that and let us learn something new. But at the very same time, we are more imaginative, we are human beings, we are more creative. So let's work on our imagination, on our creativity. So emotional regulation and upscale yourself with these new technologies. So you have to find a balance for yourself and for your kids. So as an adult, you can lead them. And this is like some tips for parents. You listen what we discuss, listen without judgment. And you have to model the emotional regulation. If you will not, someone was telling me screaming has become normalized in some households because no one is objecting on that. Everything is normal for them. So unless and until I don't practically, I show my kids to, even if I'm angry, how I'm going to control my emotions. Even if I'm upset, how I'm going to control my emotions, how I'm going to respond to that. So I have to practically show to my kids, even if you're in a challenging time, even if you're angry, what is the best response? You don't have to react, you have to respond. So there is a difference between that. So how best you can respond to any situation. So this is practically we have to show to our kids. And therefore that we have to train ourselves as well. And of course, you have to balance the boundaries with empathy. You have to show more empathy to your kids and acknowledge their feelings, understand them, communicate with them. And for educators, it's very important to introduce the social and emotional learning in classrooms. There are some schools now they're teaching emotional resilience, how they can emotionally balance their emotions, but this is still like very rare. We need to work more on that so we can introduce these life skills in mind sciences behaviors to our kids as well. And for youth also, of course, they have to build more support networks and limit your toxic screen time. And of course, these are some exercises which seems to be very basic one, but these are I think these are the most deep exercises which really helps you to regulate your emotions, your stress and anxiety. Because when you are even in the gratitude mode, you're thankful what you have, I think your stress level is really low, maybe equal to nothing, because then you're fine what you have in your life and you're happy with it, you're thankful for it, and no one is telling you to don't strive for more and be content on that. No, you strive for more, you get ambitious, but whatever you have and wherever you are now in your life, you are meant to be there. So grow from there and accept that and be thankful. And when we are thankful, our brain always tells us everything is good, everything is okay. So there is no anxiety then, because now we are not in fight and flight mechanism. Because when I say, oh, I'm so thankful for this thing, so what message I'm giving to myself, I'm safe, I'm good. So that is something we have to teach our kids as well. Be thankful. Be thankful. It's very important to appreciate the life wherever you are. And once you are appreciative for what you have in your life, you will get more. This is the law of nature. And very important, I have added this line here. Mental health is a shared journey. Adults' unhealed wounds affect children. So this is very important. So if I'm not healed, somewhere I will be reflecting that on my kids. Like I gave you an example of a friend who is suffering from perfectionism. So the same effect is now I'm seeing in her kids. So we also have to heal ourselves, because otherwise we will be reflecting the same thing to our kids. If I have so much resentment in my life, so much anger in my life, if I'm not happy, I will keep showing that anger to my kids. I will keep showing that resentment in something or the other, whatever I'm doing in my life, and my kids will learn the same thing and they will follow the same path. So we have to work on first on ourselves. It's just like the oxygen mask to be on your on your face first, and then you have to offer the oxygen mask to your others. So take care of yourself as well to set those example. And let's raise a resilient hearts and mind. And supporting our children and youth today is going to be a foundation for emotionally healthy adults tomorrow. And very important thing what I wanted to say just now, what we are discussing, when one generation heals, it breaks the cycle, creating a stronger families and communities for decades to come. So that's very important to understand. If one family is healed, if one adult is healed, you're breaking the whole cycle of your family, where maybe something is continuing for a longer time. Like one of our participants, she shared her story, how she suffered in her childhood, but she made sure that when she became a mother, she gave the opposite experience to her children. So of course, now the love or care she has provided to her kids, that will be carrying on for rest of the generations. So it's very important for adults to be here to break these cycles in a family. And these are the basic main mental fundamentals what we have discussed, that it's a human right to take care of your mental health. It's not a privilege for some people. It's for everyone. Everyone needs to take care of them. And World Health Organization have given many action points for how they are working on to take care of the mental health. They are increased the financing, more spending more money for the mental health workers, and also they are working on to bring the policies for that, where the mental health will be taken care of it. So I think the more awareness now we are creating, the more people are engaged in this topic, that we need to, this is the importance of this topic, that how important it is for us to have a healthy life with a mental health. They're spending money on and training more people, and introducing new policies and rules for it to take care of it. And of course, most importantly, to create those communities where we feel safe, where we can share, where we can talk about our emotion, and where we can support each other without any judgment. So I think that's a lot of people are working on that, and we need more work on that. We need to reach out more people to build those communities. That's it from my side from today. So let me know if anyone wants to share any point, any suggestion, any experience.
Thank you so much, Miss Asma. We really appreciate the presentation. There's a lot of comments, everything you're saying is resonating, whether it's about perfectionism, about not forcing the kids, the mental health challenges, the adolescents, the screen time. I've read so many comments.
Okay.
It's really resonating. There are about 4 questions, if you don't mind. Some of them I think have been answered, but I'll just read them out
Yeah,
that
sure.
I captured. So the first one said, will we discuss about trauma in adults or parents, as I think their cure is far more important, as they are responsible to make children feel better or bad.
Sorry, what's the
So I
question?
feel like we've covered that. The question was about discussing trauma in adults or parents, because the writer was saying they think their cure, the parents' cure, is more important because they're responsible to make children feel better or bad.
Of course, it's just like if I'm not healed, if I don't feel good in my life, so I will never help. I could never help even my kids to do better in their life. So first and foremost thing, I have to put that oxygen mask on my face was to breathe. And then only I can help my kids, my family, anyone else around me. So first of all, I have to heal myself. That's why this is the reason I mentioned this. This when one generation hit, it breaks a cycle.
Yes, very true. Thank you so much. The next question is, how do you know that a child is traumatized or has emotional issues?
This is what we were discussing on the signs, on the behavior, because if the kid is like not behaving normally when we say that sometimes kids, they isolate themselves, or sometimes they get scared if someone is screaming. So you have to always observe your kids. If you find that your kid is not behaving in a normal way, and there is something, your kid maybe is feeling shy or is getting more isolated, or maybe sometimes get very aggressive because they don't know how to express their emotions, and they just get angry on everything what you tell them. And sometimes, I mean, there could be various things. So if you find that your kid is not happy in a certain way, or they're not behaving normal, and they're very aggressive, or they're very quiet, or they're very isolated, or they don't socialize, or they don't even communicate with you, or they could be several things, there could be several behaviors. So your job is that to first start communicating with them, start asking them, so the kids needs to first trust you that you will acknowledge their feelings. So never deny their emotions. That's something very important. Sometimes we hear and we say, no, that never happened. No, you don't know. Let the kid talk. Let them express what they feel and tell them, I hear you. I really feel your pain. So tell me more about it. So it's just like, slowly and gradually open those communication doors with your kids where they trust you and they can share everything with you. Even if you think they have done mistake. Of course, we even adults, we do so many mistakes. So doing mistake it's not an issue. The thing is that even if I'm doing a mistake, how much my caretaker will take care of me in this situation? How can they show me the way out of it? So that trust level is very important. That will only happen when you will stop judging your kids, acknowledge their feelings, their emotions, whatever they're expressing. Just tell them, I know you're right. Because if you keep denying the kids, they will never trust you. They will shut down. So let them speak, let them express, and show more love to them. Even if you think they're doing something wrong, just very politely, kindly, with compassion, not with screaming or judging them. How can you do this? And don't do comparisons. Even in the siblings, don't do the comparisons. So there's so many things, the behavioral things, you have to give that level of confidence and trust to your kids so they can trust you and they can share the things with you. So whenever you feel the kid is not like very expressive, or they're very shy, they're very timid, so start communication with them and just understand how they feel.
Yes. Okay, thank you. The next question is, how do cultures, faith, and values affect resilience?
How do coaches?
How do cultures, faith, and values, how do these things affect resilience?
I'm still not getting the question. How?
Like your culture,
How do culture? Okay. 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 Okay.
and your faith, and then your values as a person, how do they affect resilience?
How do they affect their culture? How do they affect their resilience? Our culture, right?
Yes.
I would say that if you look at every religion tells you some very basic things, what we were discussing before. First of all, be appreciative of life. Gratitude is a big thing to do in your life because most of the time we are complaining. I think every religion tells you to be thankful where you are, what you have, and you will be blessed with more. So I don't know about the other religions, like very deeply their teachings, but I know one thing for sure, that every single religion teaches us more values which can help us to, I would say, grow in our life and have less stress. See, how much do we believe in the power of prayer? So if you go to every religion, they tell you one thing:
Hi.
believe that God is there, who is your provider. How much do we believe in that? We believe more in human beings. If I'm a person of a faith, so how much do we believe that God is going to take me out of this situation? If I'm really close to my religion, there's a very basic teaching in every religion. He is your provider. We expect more from human beings than from our creator. So if we expect less from human beings and more from our creator, I think even only from our creator, we are always like in a very relaxed mode. You're in a flow when you know God is there to take care of you. So you will be less stressed. You know, okay, fine. I know some power is there. My creator is there. He will take care of everything. And my creator is telling me, whatever I have provided you till date, just be thankful to it. Now, this is the part of the religion. I think it's every religion. But now psychology is teaching you the same thing. Now the mind science is teaching you the same thing. The same laws, same rules which our religion or the God has taught us, that follow these things. Trust in me, have faith in me, be thankful. And also, very important thing, never lose hope. If you believe some power is there who is at your back, who is supporting you, never lose hope. These are the very basic fundamentals of every religion, but we don't follow that. We forgot that somewhere. We are lost in that. But if we start following the very basic thing, what our religion teaches us, to have faith in the Creator, believe that whatever is happening, it's not going to harm you, and you will learn something out of it. You will get out of it. Not today, if not tomorrow. Finally, you will get out of it. So you will have less stress when you know that some power is at your back. And when you are thankful, now this is what the religion have taught us. But now if you see, psychology is teaching you. There's so many coaches are there. There's so many therapists are there. The only exercise they give you to do is to be just thankful, just gratitude. That's it. So many people I've heard these stories. Only thing they said that before we sleep, we just write down 10 things we are very thankful and our life has changed drastically. So like I said, God has not given you the challenges. He has given you the tools as well, which are all your internal tools. It's your mind game, the energy you create, how you feel, what you speak. Your words are very important. Rather than keep saying, always bad thing happens to me. No. Or you say, always good thing happens to me. And you will feel the difference, how you are creating the whole energy. So the whole power is within you. And everything goes back to our religion. But I think if I talk about myself, maybe we didn't dig much into it. And now I'm seeing, when I compare, the same teachings were there, which was there in my religion, and the same teachings are here now in the psychology, in the new mind sciences, in the new techniques. It goes back to the same fundamentals. I hope I understood your question correctly. Do we have any other question?
Ma'am, I'm sorry to
Oh, yes.
interrupt.
Can you hear
Actually,
me?
we are short of time, so we would
Yeah.
not be
Okay.
able to take the questions for now. So, on behalf of whole Woman Ascension, I would really like to thank you for investing all your time and energy on this topic, which you have delivered quite engaging and effectively. I really enjoyed it. It is one of the session of the series I have really enjoyed it, and I guess
Thank you
all
so
the
much.
participants also have enjoyed it since they are there in the session since long. And thank you so much, ma'am. And we would really like to have another session with you in future.
Thank
Just
you
an
so much.
upgradation of this topic, uh, how to be resilient in our above 30s, right? So that's my kind request. And whenever you have time, we'll always reach out to you for the same proposal. And thank you a lot for this, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate everyone for joining, for your time. And I hope this session was helpful by some or the other way, and you must have learned something out of it. So if I ask you the last thing, what did you learn out of this session? So what is the one takeaway from this session? So I will be really glad to hear that.
For me, it would be that everything is possible if you go with the first step of self awareness. You can change
True.
yourself and you can change the people around to you. Though the
Exactly.
intensity might be less, but there will be a difference.
That's perfectly fine, because that's a ripple effect. When we change, the people around us, the environment around us also change. Thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you everyone for your time. And I hope we can join again with this topic for resilience. And we can talk more on that. Most importantly, just work on that. If you don't take an action, there is no point.
Okay. Thank you so much, Miss
All
Asma.
right. Thank you
To
so much. Really
everyone else,
appreciate it. Okay. Take care
yes,
this
Thank you so
evening.
have a
much.
wonderful
Okay.
day or evening wherever you
Thank
are
you,
in the
Mama.
world. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Okay. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so much.
you.
Bye bye.
Thank you.